What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, Blessing Awodibu versus Nick Walker, Chapter 2. So, as you guys know, Blessing Awodibu and Nick Walker have been trading barbs and sending shots at each other, and there's kind of been a back and forth between them for the past week or so, because they're both going to be competing at the New York Pro here in a few months now. Coming up in May, Blessing will be making his pro debut, and Nick Walker will be competing in his second pro show. So they've been kind of taking shots at each other on Instagram stories and going back and forth, but let's talk brass tacks here. Let's talk about physique updates. I want to start with Blessing Awodibu's physique update, a back shot where he's posing for Kai Green. His caption on this video is "Soft front double bicep after rounds and rounds of posing with Kai Green and mental entity, 13 weeks to be at my very, very best." So 13 weeks out, and he's actually hitting a front double bicep here, so he's not emphasizing the back muscle. So this was interesting because I think a lot of people would agree that Blessing's strong point over Nick would be his back development. In fact, let's screenshot this video and put it up next to a recent back shot from Nick Walker. So Nick Walker is a very impressive bodybuilder. Overall, I would say that Nick is very complete, but I gotta say, I think Blessing would take the back double bicep pose by a mile. I think Blessing has an extremely impressive back. A lot of people say that shows are won from the back. And I think in a back double bicep, Blessing is he's way better. There's no other way to put it. Now, I think where Nick is going to catch Blessing is on a lot of the poses in the lower body. I think Nick has much bigger legs, much more developed legs, all the way around. Hamstrings and quads, I think, are superior to Blessing. But Blessing, he's got the back going for him. He's a little bit more aesthetic. Well, he's a lot more aesthetic. He's got a much better V-taper, much smaller waist. And Blessing takes note of that in the post that he posted after this. So Blessing posted another video of his back. And the caption here, another shot at Nick Walker. Back workout yesterday was insane, intense, heavy, and nasty. No bubble gut here with a bunch of laughing emojis. And he says, and that waist still got a lot to come off of it. So I would say, and I probably would agree, that the most common criticism that I've seen of Nick probably would be the word blocky. A lot of people think that he looks blocky, and a lot of people criticize the waist. That's what I've seen most. I've seen tons of compliments, tons of talk of the potential of Nick Walker, tons of talk about the freak factor that Nick brings to the stage. And I'm a huge fan of Nick's physique. I'm a huge fan of Blessing's, and that's why I think this showdown is going to be a fascinating one. But with that being said, I think Blessing and Nick are going to complement each other, or contrast each other, I guess you could say, in very big ways, because I think the strong points of Blessing's physique are the weak points of Nick's physique and vice versa. If you look at some of Nick's recent physique updates, again, very impressive guy, a lot of muscle mass, shorter guy. Blessing's a taller guy, not as aesthetic. He's more on the mass monster side. Blessing, a little bit more aesthetic, but still carries a significant amount of mass. Nick from the front and sides, I think, is very dominant. Blessing from the back, I think, is very dominant. And I think here in 13 weeks at the New York Pro, we're going to have ourselves a battle between Nick and Blessing. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below who you guys have winning in 13 weeks of the New York Pro, Nick or Blessing. And if neither of them, who do you think will just place ahead of the other, Nick or Blessing? Comment down below. Now, next up in the news, a Patrick Moore physique update courtesy of the Sulios Instagram page. So Patrick Moore, taking a significantly extended offseason after his Arnold Classic 2020 appearance with the goal solely of putting on quality size and quality muscle in his offseason so he can stand out more on stage. He's already proven he's one of the more aesthetic guys. He's already proven at the 2019 Olympia, at least, that he's capable of bringing next-level conditioning, even in a lineup of more seasoned veteran pros. But the criticism of Patrick Moore, the 2020 season, and the shows that he did after last year's Arnold Classic, the 2020 Arnold Classic, the shows that followed that Arnold Classic, people just said that Patrick didn't have the size to stand out in those lineups and got overlooked for that reason. The Cali Pro, the New York Pro, the Arnold, the common thread seemed to be people saying Patrick needed size. So here is the latest physique update from Patrick in his offseason with that focus. Now, for me, the main two things that stood out to me is he looks obviously significantly rounder and fuller than we're used to seeing Patrick. And the other thing that stood out to me here was the upper body width. I mean, he's always had the crazy V-taper because of the small waist, but to me, his upper bodies, his shoulder, chest, lat area just looks wider to me. It could be the illusion. It could be that he's added some significant size, or it could just be the lighting and the angle. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Will Patrick Moore be more dangerous in 2021 with added size? Let me know in the comment section below. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Come on.
Now, next up in the news, Andrew Jacked, the training partner of Larry Wheels, somebody who a lot of you guys have been waiting to see on stage. He was originally planning his pro debut for last year, 2020, at the NPC. It was an Ohio show he was going to do. Anyway, that show wound up getting canceled, and his stage debut, he's never competed at all as an amateur or obviously as a pro, but that debut was pushed to 2021 this year. And based on some of the recent physique updates that we've seen so far, I saw this physique update on O2 Therapy, who is the deep tissue massage guy for a lot of fitness celebrities, including Andrew Jacked. Andrew hitting this front lat spread looking extremely impressive. It looks like he's in pretty good shape, so maybe that pro debut is coming sooner rather than later. I don't know why I keep saying pro debut. His debut to the stage, period. But maybe that competition is coming sooner rather than later. He also had this back double bicep post on his story. Again, looking very impressive, looking very lean, looking to be in very good shape. And then in addition to this back double bicep, I saw someone also post a side chest shot up against Andrew Jacked, looking very impressive. Yet again, Andrew in the shot. Look how round his shoulders are. I mean, this guy, he's very impressive. And I can't believe he's never competed. It's really surprising to me. So another one that you guys can let me know in the comment section below. How do you think Andrew Jacked is going to fare in his first competitive bodybuilding show ever? Personally, I think he's going to be extremely impressive. I think he's going to do very well, especially considering the fact he's going to be competing as a novice. The physique that we're seeing here is certainly going to be something that's going to be impressive for a first-timer. But the real analysis and the real speculation and the real talk of potential is going to come as he starts to move up the ranks in whatever organization he starts competing in, starts gunning for a pro card, maybe possibly turns pro pretty quickly. Then we're going to start talking about his future as a competitive athlete. But right now, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say whatever show he picks for his first show as an amateur, he's probably going to do pretty well. Now, next up in the news, Hadi Choopan showing us that he is all gas and no brakes in his preparation for the 2021 Mr. Olympia. Hadi Choopan has been extremely impressive, but these videos that he's posted lately, this squat session where he's squatting super heavy, doing a decent amount of reps with that weight, and also he posted a video doing some lunges all the way across the gym with a pretty significant amount of weight on the bar as well. Hadi Choopan is taking names at this year's Mr. Olympia, which, by the way, I heard we're supposed to be getting the announcement for the new dates and location of this year's Olympia very, very soon. So make sure you subscribe to this channel right now if you guys want to be kept updated on the Olympia and when it's going to happen and also where it's going to happen this year. I'm told that information is going to be coming very, very soon. But Hadi Choopan, I really think Hadi is going to move up even further at this year's Mr. Olympia. I don't know why I keep saying that, man, but I guess it's because the 2020 Olympia feels like it just happened because it was towards the end of the year in 2020. But Hadi Choopan taking fourth right behind Phil Heath. I don't think Phil's going to be at the Olympia next year. I think Hadi is. Hadi took third in 2019. I think Hadi can do even better than that in 2021, especially with the absence of Phil Heath. And especially after seeing Hadi talk about the journey that he had to the Olympia stage, getting the visa, traveling to the States, the last-minute preparations, how stressful it was for Hadi to actually get over here. Who knows how that impacted Hadi's physique, but he was still able to pull off a top 4 finish at the Olympia. And by the way, an extremely impressive physique. I mean, he looked good. Maybe you could argue he looked a little bit better in 2019, but he looked good in 2020, all things considered. And he also posted these 2 physique updates to his story recently. However, I don't know if they were actual recent physique updates, but if they were, he looks like he's maintained some pretty reasonable level of conditioning post-Olympia. But let me know how you think Hadi will place in the 2021 Mr. Olympia this year. And the final story, Rolly Winkler with a physique update. Rolly, another guy that we did not get the opportunity to see compete in the Mr. Olympia this past year. And Rolly, another guy that we're all looking at as to what his next show is going to be because he's not currently qualified for the upcoming Mr. Olympia. So Rolly is a guy that he's looking like he's in pretty good shape. He's a guy that needs to be on the radar for these upcoming shows. I have a feeling we might see him jump in one of these shows unexpectedly and earn that qualification for the 2021 Mr. Olympia because, again, he still needs to qualify. So Rolly is a guy feels like we haven't seen in a long time, but I think we're going to see him pretty soon as the bodybuilding season kicks off this year in May. But hey, only time will tell. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the stories in today's video. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.